You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. All right, well, busy news time. We got a lot to cover. A lot of things are happening. President Trump posted on Truth Social this morning at 11:39 a.m. When this is, sucks, but obviously something's coming. This is President Trump at 11:39 a.m. today. I assume that an indictment from deranged Jack Smith and his highly partisan gang of thugs pertaining to my peacefully and patriotically speech will be coming out any day now, as yet another attempt to cover up all of the bad news about bribes, payoffs, and extortion coming from the Biden camp. It seems to be the way they do it, and he wrote down their prosecutorial misconduct. So they're coming after him, and there's an article today that's really scary in Breitbart about what they may be planning with President Trump. When I say they, I'm talking about Jack Smith and the powers that be. You got to understand that Biden is a gangster. I mean, you look at what happened, okay? So Devon Archer testifies, he's testifying today, and it's not on television, and an insider with the Bidens. He's inside all these dirty meetings. He was on the Burisma board with Hunter, so this guy knows everything. He's given him a lot of information. Comer is backed up his information with other evidence and everything else. And they tried to arrest him. They tried to put him in prison over the weekend because he's got a conviction on this white-collar crime. He did some fraud with one of the Indian tribes. And he was sentenced to a year and a day in prison. He lost his appeal. And they were really trying to put him in prison over the weekend to keep him from testifying today, even though it's not on television. So these people are so corrupt, and they're so emboldened. A normal, sane person would say, you know what? It's a white-collar crime. Let's just wait a couple weeks till after this testimony's done so it doesn't look like we're trying to tamper with a witness.
That to me is
and they still did it.
An act of desperation. That to me tells me that they're very afraid of, it's really a shame that the media has become so political because you're not going to get the truth out of any of them.
No.
You really have to dig and look and find sources you can trust. I would say Gateway Pundit, us, of course. Gateway Pundit is good. You have to find sources that you can really trust. You can't even trust Fox anymore.
Oh, they're
you can't even trust Megyn Kelly anymore. She's been compromised. I like her. She's got a good show, but she's kissing DeSantis' ass all of a sudden because he wined her and dined her. But anyway, you're hard pressed to find the truth anywhere because the people on the left are protecting Biden so much, and it's really a shame that they're doing such a disservice to the American people that they're really not exposing what's really going on. They're actually protecting him.
Well,
they're complicit. They're accomplices.
There's a lot to do here, and I have this article about Jack Smith and Trump I want to get to, but that out of Breitbart that's really scary. But I just want to say this about Megyn Kelly before I forget. I never was a big Megyn Kelly fan, especially after all that debate stuff that happened with her and Trump in the first campaign. But I don't know, 6 months ago or so, I started watching her on YouTube, and I started liking her, and she did some really good interviews. The interview that won me over is when she interviewed Robert Kennedy Jr., 6 months ago or so, about the assassination of his uncle and his dad, and I thought, this interesting stuff. And I started watching her, and she was making a lot of sense. And then she does this interview with DeSantis at the end of last week, which was almost like a scripted interview from his campaign manager. It was the most kissy interview that I've ever seen her do, and it was.
Well, you said they went out to dinner, so I'm wondering if they took her out to dinner before or the night before. She got played. They wined her and dined her. Probably took her husband out, and charmed her to death, and now she does a puff piece, and it's like a 90-minute interview of it's like an infomercial.
When I interview people or have people on the show, I do not talk to them off the air. Even during a show, I don't talk to them. You don't want to become friends with people and then go and try to do an interview. But
yeah, that's true.
I'm very cautious of Megyn Kelly now. I'm so disappointed in her. The interview she did with DeSantis was worse than the interview that Mark Levin did a couple weeks ago, where he did a kissy interview, because his interview was just 20 minutes. Hers was about an hour, and it was awful. She should be embarrassed.
Wonder if she's on her own. She's not working for Fox anymore. If they paid for some kind of advertising or did
it seems like it, doesn't it? It's like an infomercial.
It seemed like an infomercial that was almost paid for.
It did seem like an infomercial.
And I'm wondering if there was anything, because it was 90 minutes. I mean, come on. No interview goes that long.
Well, yeah, with DeSantis, and the thing about Megyn Kelly is it seemed to me like she was working some angle to get to. Sometimes, I'm not saying this is necessarily true with Megyn Kelly with this interview with DeSantis. Okay, I'm not saying this is the what happened, because I don't know. I'm just telling you this interview is not her normal style.
No. And
Megyn Kelly, it did seem like an infomercial. What Megyn Kelly does, if you want, and this is not a criticism of her, this next part, okay? This next part I'm going to tell you is, I think, a smart thing. If you watch her, what happens is she has her show on Sirius XM radio, and they record it on video, and they upload segments of it to YouTube with different topics. And she does a lot of what Candace Owens has done to make herself famous. She trolls celebrities.
Oh yeah, Meghan Markle
and,
for sure.
And things. So she's
good at that.
Yeah, she trolls celebrities, talks about celebrities and things all the time, or big, huge topics. Sometimes she'll do an interview that seems way out of like she did something the other day with something in Australia never heard of, because she was trolling to get found in Australia. And that's a smart marketing technique she's doing. And I had a lot of respect for her. And this DeSantis interview, it's not just because I don't like DeSantis because he betrayed us. This interview that she did was awful. But anyway, let me get to this article that's in Breitbart today about Jack Smith's plans, what could happen with Trump. Listen, this is in Breitbart. Investigative reporter Julie Kelly says that special counsel Jack Smith very well could ask a D.C. judge to deny Donald Trump's release and to deny him bail once the J6 D.C. indictment comes through and there's an arraignment relating to, the Capitol riot, January 6 charges. Kelly spoke to Breitbart News, and I know this is crazy, and said this is a most definite possibility. See, with these other instances, the indictment in Miami and the one in New York, they didn't get what they wanted, right? They lost control of the situation. He showed up to both places, and he was arrested. He was fingerprinted, but there's no mugshot. They didn't get him in a jail cell.
The Secret Service isn't allowing it.
They have not allowed it.
They're not allowing it.
But I think what they're saying in Breitbart is incredibly this D.C. Grand jury indictment, this is what I've come to think this is about. And this article in Breitbart just backs up what I've been thinking. They're in a panic mode because they don't understand why these indictments have come. The New York indictment, the Florida indictment, and he shot sky high in the polls to record high numbers. Okay, even for him, he's at record high numbers, even for Trump, right? And I think what they've told themselves, because you got to remember, they're in this circle of Trump derangement syndrome sufferers where everybody hates Trump. And they all think, these Trump derangement sufferers all think, if this one thing happens, those of us that support Trump are going to wake up and jump off the Trump train. They don't understand that's never going to happen.
They have been looking for that. They have been trying that for 6 years
now.
Well,
this is what, 7. So I think
7 years.
I think this is what they're telling themselves. Okay, we got him indicted in New York. That was local. We got him indicted in Miami. That's federal. But we didn't get the mugshot. He wasn't in a cell. He wasn't cuffed. If the American people would just see the mugshot, if they would just see him cuffed.
They're going to keep indicting him until they get it.
And I think that they are planning on, like they're talking about in Breitbart, planning on making these things happen with you got to understand, in the D.C. area, that's 100% liberal. So they got a lot more control there. Everybody that's in the D.C. area, which is where this next indictment is expected to come from, is a part of the bureaucratic deep state and more likely to – when they went to New York, they're liberal, but they're local. Those are local guys.
I don't think they're going to get what they want. I don't think the Secret Service is going to allow them to get the mugshot.
See, Kathy, they might be outnumbered.
And I don't think they're going to ever let him go to jail. I think if at worst he'd be on house arrest. At worst, he'd have an ankle bracelet. I don't think that.
That would be something. Yeah, that's the kind of.
He could still run for president.
Kathy,
he could still, but I don't think he's going to end up in jail.
That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. They don't have the ankle bracelet. So
right.
They
might not.
They think he's going up in the polls because these other previous indictments haven't been like real to people because we haven't seen it. So they want to take this D.C. indictment as far as they can.
They want that mugshot.
The mugshot. Get him in a cell. Get him in cuffs. Get an ankle bracelet on him.
They think that visual will turn people around.
And then they'll say, oh, you know what? Let's jump over to DeSantis.
It'll have the opposite effect.
Exactly.
It'll
be worse.
Because let me tell you, if they get the mugshot and if they show him at all behind bars, he will look like what he is, a political prisoner.
That's right.
And he will become a Nelson Mandela figure.
He already is.
And even more
in my mind.
And I think it will, everything they do has backfired. Because they're coming from a place of falsehood, and they're coming from a place of evil and corruption, and they're not being genuine with what's going on. They're lying to people, they're manipulating people. So they're not going to get what they want because everybody knows that what they're doing is wrong. You know, you have the hardcore people that are Democrats, hardcore left Democrats that are never going to understand or see the light. You know, that's those people are never going to come around. But the people that support Trump, they are never going to support DeSantis. And over the weekend, there were so many memes and videos. They made I know Paul Rubens just passed away today. I love Pee Wee Herman. They made a meme with Ron DeSantis as Pee Wee Herman, which is just weird timing, putting his face on Pee Wee Herman's body. He is becoming a joke. He's becoming a laughingstock. And there's a clip of him telling a kid he had too much sugar in his icy. And that was talked about. I saw the clip. They were laughing at him on the news. I know that he's just awkward, kind of nerdy, and he's not smooth and charismatic and charming in
Kathy,
any way, shape, or form.
He was on Trump's coattails, including his image and persona. And now that he's on his own, he's a supporting character.
She's really good. You got to follow her on X, called X now. It's so stupid. But she's posted a few videos of him. I don't know how she got them at this thing he did in Iowa where they were partying at a hotel with all these people. He was drinking a beer. And he has the same blonde handler. He's got two different videos. One at this party where he grabs the beer and then she points. He's just standing there all quiet. She points to a group of people and he walks up to them and all of a sudden he's all animated. Hey, and they're holding their beers in the air. Then there's another scene where he's in a parade. The same blonde handler, he's walking. She comes up to him and points to his wife, who's like 20 feet ahead of him. And he immediately bolts over to his wife and kids. He is a typical manhandled politician.
Yeah,
he is not a man of his own. He is shuffled around and told where to stand and what to say. And to me, before Trump, people were used to that kind of politician. They figured, well, that's how it goes. That's how politics are. And I told you today, people want a different kind of politician. Trump has changed the way people look at politicians forever.
Oh, yeah.
So
there's no doubt about it. And I saw that parade thing when DeSantis ran towards his wife. He ran really goofy, too.
Yeah.
He didn't run like a tough guy.
He's a strange dude.
He's really strange. He's really kind of dorky.
He really is.
Yeah, that's
I think that's what people were shocked because they see him in his JAG uniform and he was handsome when he was younger. Not so much tomorrow. He's okay looking guy, but when he was younger, he was really handsome. And they think he's just Mr. Cool, but he's really geeky. Mm-hmm. I am like shocked.
Yeah,
Trump's way cooler than him.
So they got a new poll out today, and wanted to go over this from the New York Times. And this New York Times poll, there is no primary contest, okay? And this poll came out today. There's no Republican primary contest. And to suggest that there is one is absurd. Let me just go through this, okay?
Did you get the one I texted you?
I'm not sure, but I just
texted you the interactive poll that came out this morning.
Well, let me go through the one I have here now, okay? This is the New York Times, and the New York Times is the latest poll. Trump is at 54. 54. This is the Republican primary. 54%. DeSantis is in second place at 17. Come on, give me a break.
It's a big gap.
And look at this. Then after that, everybody falls off the cliff. So Trump is at 54. DeSantis is at 17, which isn't even competition. After DeSantis is Pence with 3, and Pence is tied with Scott and Haley at 3.
Well, I got a worse poll.
Well, let me finish with this one first, Kath. And then you got Ramaswamy at 2 and Chris Christie at 2. And Ramaswamy is getting more positive free publicity from commentators and news people than anyone I've ever heard. He's sitting there. Republican voters want Trump. They don't want anyone else. You can add all these other losers up together, and they're still not even close to Trump. There is no competition.
I think he is going to choose Ramaswamy as his running mate, and the reason is because you had said he truthed that he was going to watch the debates to decide who to choose for a running mate. Yeah. So that tells me he's going to choose one of them. And Ramaswamy is a big Trump supporter. He's very exciting and a good talker. He's intelligent. He's good at messaging. He's got a good personality. He's likable. And I think that's who Trump's going to pick. I think that would be a smart choice because I don't think Trump should have anybody on his team that's from Washington. I just think that he has learned his lesson, and there is nobody out of Washington that's not compromised. And he needs to choose a businessman and somebody who's on his side, who is not corrupted by the D.C. swamp. And I think that's who his pick's going to be. So I have the interactive polls, IA polls on X now. I just can't get used to that. Election betting odds. This just came out about 12 hours ago. Election betting odds. Ron DeSantis' odds of getting the GOP nomination. This is for betting odds. In December, it was 52%.
52.6. So that's like 53.
January, 43.2%. March, 35.5%. These are his betting odds of winning. July 11th, 13.5%. And yesterday, or 2 days ago, July 30th, 9.8%. So, you cannot tell me that his donors, he is trending the wrong way. He is trending down. And the problem with that is, how you can gain momentum, and once you pick up that momentum, you start taking off. The opposite can happen too. Mm-hmm. If you start trending down and the polls are going down, then you lose momentum and things go downward very, very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And he's already being mocked and made fun of. He's done. And I read an article, and I put it on our Facebook group. This one Republican, if I can find it, congressman, I think I sent you the article, had said what you've been saying all along. He said that DeSantis has destroyed his career and that he is unelectable forever. He said
Somebody said that. I've been saying that for months.
Yeah, I can never find the article.
Unelectable forever. I've been saying that for quite a while.
A Florida Republican, I just found it, running for Congress, says DeSantis may have tanked his own political career in the state. I think beyond the state, I think nationally. Alan Pincus told the Washington Post that DeSantis may have tanked his political career future in Florida. And I think I would go beyond Florida. I would say over the whole country. I think he's done.
Oh yeah, he's.
And you've been saying that for months.
Unelectable forever. Well,
that's right.
Yeah, that's true.
He's destroyed his career.
He's completely destroyed. In fact, I saw him earlier today. He was giving a speech in New Hampshire, I think it was, and I watched it for about 3 or 4 minutes. And he's just going through. It's like listening to someone running for office back in the 80s. Just going through these statistics.
Yeah, because that's who's running his campaign.
Yeah, he's going through these statistics. He told Carl when in this Megyn Kelly interview, DeSantis, she said, "Oh, they say you're part of the swamp." He's like, I've never talked to Karl Rove. I haven't seen Paul Ryan since. He doesn't have to be talking directly to them to be working with them. Okay, he could communicate through them through representatives. Mm-hmm. Okay, and that's what I was talking about with Megyn Kelly when he says, well, I haven't seen Paul Ryan since such and such. I haven't talked to Carl. But are people working for him in communication with
That's probably what's happening.
And she didn't do those kind of follow-ups. Right. Not that he would tell you the truth necessarily.
Like 2 degrees of separation here.
Exactly.
Well, it's really interesting because what he's – maybe he didn't realize this, but what people are realizing in the world of donors – is without Trump, he's not electable. And I think what happened is when he flipped Miami, he takes credit for that. It was really Trump who did it for him because the people there love Trump, and Trump supporters will vote for whoever Trump tells them to vote for. And when Miami flipped, I think something flipped in him. I think Ron DeSantis, it went to his head. And I think that was when he decided, well, if I can flip a blue county, Miami-Dade's huge and it's been blue. And he probably thought if I can flip Miami-Dade, I can flip all these other, I could flip California.
Trump flipped it.
But he took credit for it. Mm-hmm. And I think that was the turning point for him in deciding to run. Mm-hmm. If Miami-Dade had not turned red, I don't think he would be doing this. But I think it went to his head and his ego got out of control. And he thought, you know what, I can win without Trump. Well, he's clearly misjudged that one.
Now, if you would like to support my content, the podcast here with Kathy, my YouTube channel, the Steve Kane, everything that I do, a great way to do that is to go to mypillow.com and buy something with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. And we were talking over the weekend. Our daughter over the weekend had just arrived. We got her the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper 2.0 with cooling technology for her guest bed and her sleeper sofa at our house in California, so that when I visit and her grandparents visit, we can sleep on a bed that's comfortable. You know, sleeper sofas, those mattresses are the worst mattresses you've ever slept. You ever slept on a sleeper sofa, Kathy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. They're
Not
the worst.
In a while, but, my younger days.
You can feel the metal bars underneath and everything.
Yes, it's awful.
So we got her the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper 2.0 with cooling technology to put on that mattress. And surprisingly, I was a little concerned about this. Because we don't have a sleeper sofa, but I've had them in the past, and it actually folds up inside the sofa with the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper on top of it. And I was like, wow, that's absolutely amazing. I was not expecting that to even be a possibility.
If you have a sleeper sofa, you have to have one of these. It's the right thing to do for your company. Because it doesn't matter how expensive your couch is, the sleeper part's not going to be
they're awful.
Yeah, you got to have one of these for sure.
The 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper 2.0, which Kathy and I sleep on every night, it will change your life. It turns your entire mattress into a MyPillow. And the first night we got ours, I remember I was at the gun show in Palm Beach, came home, and it was waiting for me at the door. Mm-hmm. It was the day I drove by the MAGA van. Remember that guy selling all the Trump stuff?
I don't know how you remember these little details in your life.
And it was a Saturday. We slept on the mattress topper. Yeah. That night, I woke up on Sunday and the sun was out. It was the first time that I didn't have to get up for work because
I remember.
Weekend. It was the first time I woke up with the sun out in years.
That's true.
So the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper comes in every mattress size there is, and you'll love yours. They make great gifts, and we got it for our daughter
really
as a gift. Kind of a selfish gift because I'm going to use it.
Yeah, or if you go visit somebody, say you're a grandparent and you go visit your kids or grandkids, and you are relegated to the sleep sofa, and you're like Elaine on Seinfeld, send one of those to the house so you can sleep comfortably.
That's right.
And the pillows too.
So the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper 2.0 with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, is 40% off and free shipping. And remember, you can take advantage of all the specials with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at mypillow.com. We'll be right back.
Have you thought about starting your own business? Maybe you're already in business and looking for a new opportunity. Then order your copy of How to Start an Ignition Interlock Business, available online at theinterlockbook.com. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting out, this ebook offers invaluable insights and methods to ensure your ignition interlock business flourishes while prioritizing public safety with various ignition interlock services. With How to Start an Ignition Interlock Business, you'll learn how to find the right ignition interlock partners, how to decide on the best business model, and understand various types of services. You'll discover how to analyze potential service center locations, how to streamline business operations, and how to navigate the process of applying for the right business licenses. This downloadable ebook is packed with exclusive, indispensable information you will not find anywhere else. Don't wait any longer. Take advantage of the opportunity and order your copy right now. How to Start an Ignition Interlock Business, online at theinterlockbook.com. Share the link on all of your social media so your friends can take advantage of this opportunity too. theinterlockbook.com. The new book from author William Thien is now available on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com. The Dream Chip. In The Dream Chip, meet David O'Rourke, an intelligence agent turned uploader for the Timelink Corporation, a futuristic technology company. His mission, capture the thoughts and memories of the deceased and store them in the Will of Memories, a protected vault of supercomputers. But there's more to the Timelink Corporation than meets the eye. They're also the creator of the Common Council software program, which empowers citizens to have a say in government decisions. This revolutionary system threatens the power of a group known as the Civocrats, who are determined to maintain their control at any cost. As tensions rise, their leader organizes a mob to attack the Timelink Corporation. The fate of the future is hanging in the balance. The Dream Chip takes you on an adventure filled with technology, political intrigue, and the power of human memory. Order your copy right now on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com. The Dream Chip from author William Thien, and uncover the secrets that lie within. Brace yourself for an unforgettable journey into the heart of heroism with From Flames to Valor, a firefighter's journey. The new book from professional firefighter, deputy chief, and author Jose L. Barrios. In Flames to Valor, step into the boots of a true hero as you traverse the world of firefighting, a world filled with danger, courage, and sacrifice. Follow along as they face roaring infernos, risking everything to save lives and protect their community. You'll witness the human side of heroism as they navigate through challenges, proving that true valor lies not in bravery, but in resilience. This must-read book will leave you breathless and inspired, reminding you that heroes are not born, but forged through determination and unwavering spirit. From Flames to Valor, a firefighter's journey, from author Jose L. Barrios, is available on Amazon and all major online booksellers. Order your copy today and experience the heart-stopping, heartwarming tale of what it truly means to be a hero. Order your copy right now.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Okay, so one of the Biden attorneys came out today and talked, and all this business is going on with Devon Archer. Let's just play this. Listen, this is a press moment.
Doesn't it contradict the president's statement saying that he never talked to any of Hunter Biden business associates? Clearly he talked, whether about the weather or whatever, but he said specifically that he's never talked to them. Doesn't this contradict them?
I don't know what his comment is, and if we're going to, well, I don't think that's what he said. He never said that he has never spoken to anyone. He said that he had nothing to do with Hunter Biden's business dealings. If he says hello to someone that he sees his son with, is he supposed to say, "Hi, son"? Oh, no, I'm not going to say hello to the other people at the table or the other people on the phone. It's kind of a preposterous premise to think that a father should not say hello to people that the son is at dinner with, and that is literally all the evidence is.
Was this like a party trick that Hunter Biden used to impress the people he was with?
Okay, now, by the way, that's a Democrat congressman. His name is Dan Goldman. And see, this I love this. He's a New York congressman.
Joe was just saying hi.
And this is what was going on, okay, with that. It's so obvious. I mean, they run things like right out of the mafia. They run things just like the mafia. Joe Biden cannot be in person at these meetings because most of them happened while he was vice president. But since then, he's had Secret Service details with him everywhere. So everywhere he goes, even between the time he was no longer vice president and now, in that little in-between time in Trump's first term, by the way, if you can hear that in the background, there's a thunderstorm going on. It is hurricane season in Florida, so you can hear the thunder in the background. But anyway, during that time between Trump's first term, he still had Secret Service protection with him. So everywhere he goes, there's a record of it because Secret Service have to be there. So there is a record of every place he goes down to the So he can't go to this. And when he was vice president, he certainly couldn't go because there's a massive motorcade involved with that. So to get around that record keeping of him being physically in certain places where other people are, he had probably a burner phone, but Hunter would be in the meetings with these sleazeballs, taking, bribes and everything. But before they would do business, they needed to know that Joe Biden was in on it. So he'd call his dad up and say, hey, I'm here.
To make it seem, for lack of a better word, legit.
Well, and they use coded language. Like if you watch Donnie Brasco, when Al Pacino, Johnny Depp's undercover FBI, when he brings him in, they explain this whole thing. Donnie Brasco is a really good movie to get the understandings of how the mob works.
Very good movie.
And he said, if I introduce you and say you're a friend of mine, that means that you're under my protection. If I say you're a friend of ours, that means you're a made man.
Right. Exactly.
And that's kind of what happens with this. Hunter's meeting with these scumbuckets that are trying to bribe. Not trying, they're going to do it. They just, But before they give him the money, they need to hear from Joe to make sure this is legit and this isn't just some crackhead that's trying to get $10 million. So he gets his dad up on the burner phone, and
they wanted to make sure Joe was in on it.
These are friends of ours
because they're not going to do business with just Hunter.
They need to know the big guys involved.
The big guys involved, exactly.
So
they
when
get a return on their investment.
So when Joe does that, then they know, and there's no record of him actually being there with the people. He never had a meeting. It was just like on the speakerphone.
Yeah, and like any mob boss, he's very careful with his words.
Yeah.
And how he presents himself, and he just has to say hello to let them know. He's not going to go into details of what's happening. He might just say, "Yep, I'm here." You know what I mean? And that's all they need to know.
That's exactly right. And
it's not just about saying hello. It's the fact that he's actually present and accounted for in those phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
It places him at the scene of the crime.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
They just think the American people are stupid.
Yeah, I don't want to get sidetracked on this too much, but I do feel obligated to mention. I know he mentioned it, but I want to say a little bit more about Pee Wee Herman died of cancer, and he's had cancer for years, and he left a message for some time ago to be released after he died, and he's had cancer for years. I never.
What was the message?
Just I've been suffering with this for a long time, kind of thing. I never was really a fan of Pee Wee Herman. I've never seen Big Top Pee Wee. I've seen clips of it. I've never seen the movie.
We're going to watch it this weekend. It's one of my favorite movies. Yes,
really.
In high school, I saw it about 50 million times.
Oh my!
I knew it by heart. It's one of the funniest movies ever.
Please, you're going to make me suffer there.
Yes.
And Pee Wee Herman never recovered from that arrest inside the adult movie theater where he was, pleasuring himself. Remember that? And I guess it's because he had a children's show, and that was kind of what he was known for, and he never really came back from that. The first thing he did, I remember, that was like in 91-ish.
He's a very good actor.
He's very talented.
He was good in that movie Blow with Johnny Depp. He was very good in that. He was
great movie. Yeah, he could have got an Oscar for that. He was very good in that
movie.
The first thing I remember him doing after the adult theater arrest was he was in the Batman sequel. He was like the father of the Penguin or something, and one of those Batman.
Very good actor.
He was good in it. Poor Pee Wee Herman. But the reason I bring this up is not just because I feel obligated. We should, Paul Rubens. He's a very talented guy, but his career really got derailed from that adult theater thing.
Yeah.
In today's society, the morals of this society since then have gone so far down the tubes that if a celebrity got arrested in an adult theater like that today, and those adult theaters still do exist, believe it or not. I don't know why. I guess for some old timers that don't have, internet stuff at home. But if that happened today, I don't think it would be damaging, Kathy, to a celebrity, because that's just his way. Caitlyn Jenner tweeted a picture of winning the Olympics today. Was like the 47th anniversary of winning the Olympics.
Crazy.
And I know. Can you imagine
that? 76. I remember that was a big year.
And you look. I mean, when we were growing up in the 70s and in the 80s, Bruce Jenner was the definition of what a man was supposed to be. And now you look at Bruce Jenner, and you look at what liberals have done to the morals of this society. I was watching a movie last night that I fell asleep watching that I'm going to watch tonight with Kirk Douglas called, what's that name of that movie? The Detective Story?
Yeah.
And this movie was made in the 1950s in New York, and I fell asleep just as it was getting going, because it was kind of late last night for me, but I'm going to finish watching it. Have you seen this movie, Kathy?
I have not.
He is prosecuting a doctor who has done some botched abortions. And they're getting ready to arrest him, and the guy's lawyer visits him. And I haven't gotten this far in the movie, but it seems like that Kirk Douglas's wife might have gone to see the doctor, and he didn't know about it. So there's and I'm thinking, wow, they're making a movie about an abortion doctor doing botched abortions because it was just 50 before Roe v. Wade.
Now women have parties celebrating it.
Yeah, or they just go to the drugstore and get that over-the-counter pill out of the cabinet.
Society has definitely devolved.
Every aspect of our morality has gone down the tubes in this country.
I agree with you on that.
And,
there's no standards anymore. There's really not.
No, there are no moral standards.
No.
There really are not.
They just keep pushing the envelope, pushing it, and it's never going to stop. And there's things that are totally acceptable that I never, ever thought would be in society.
Well,
and, it seems like you just can't stop.
I'll tell you, I think this began because people are like, oh, this and that. I think it began with Bill Clinton with that claiming that oral sex wasn't sex with Monica Lewinsky. I
think you're right.
And that was like the big turning point in morality. And I know some people will say, oh,
social media does not help.
The birth control pill. And there have been moments like the birth control pill and things that have changed things.
Yeah.
But Bill Clinton, when he said that oral sex was not sex and it depends on what sex is and all this business, that's when things really started going full steam ahead with our morality.
Yeah.
And here we have, look at this. We've got this president today, this gangster president. The media are celebrating him because he acknowledged his 7th grandchild. Like so nice of him. What a great guy he is.
Yeah.
This grandchild, the best thing the Bidens can do is to just give her a trust fund, make sure she's never homeless, has her college taken care of, and stay the hell away from them.
Because people are more concerned with optics and defending their political party. They're more concerned with that than having any kind of moral standards in society anymore. And they'll just overlook a lot of things. Apparently, to defend their politicians. It's really politics is very cult-like.
That's
on both
right.
sides, it can be on both sides, and people get so emotionally invested in their political party, and it happens. Like I said, both sides it can happen, but I think mostly with the left, they absolutely refuse to acknowledge anything that happens that's wrong on their side. They just absolutely refuse. And just lie and double
we have
down.
standards. Last week, Kathy, we were talking about Nancy Mace and that.
No, I was just going to say that. Yeah,
and we called her out.
That's right.
And as much as we love Marjorie Taylor Greene, we talked about when her and her husband split. Now she's with Brian from Right Side.
Exactly. You have to be that way. You have to be honest, and a lot of people might not like it and get upset when we say things like that. But I don't want to be one of these political hacks that just excuses every single thing. I do have standards, and so does Brian. And I would like to see standards come back, and I would like people to expect more out of politicians and out of each other. And I think it's okay to call people out, even if you support them. It doesn't mean you don't support them. It just means, look, I don't agree with this. And we should discuss this, and it's okay. I mean, you're not going to fall apart and everything. It's okay to talk about it and call people out.
In 1980, when Ronald Reagan was running for president, a lot of people said he should not be the president. He is not a man of high moral character. He's divorced, right, and remarried.
Nuts.
That's crazy, isn't it? Just being divorced and remarried.
Yeah, that's the way it was.
Was almost a disqualifier for President Reagan. But can you believe that?
That's crazy.
Yeah, and now look at what we got.
I know.
Yeah?
I know. It's nuts.
Yeah, it is.
Things have definitely changed.
It is.
What's it going to be like when Emily's our age?
Oh, my gosh.
When she's in her 50s, 30 years from now.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't even want to.
The moral standards in this country have gone so far down the tubes. I mean, look what just happened at the White House. This cocaine thing's just disappeared now.
Exactly.
Everyone's forgotten about the cocaine outside the Situation Room at the White House.
Right.
And, I wanted to talk about this issue with you, Kathy, with Obama. I was talking about it on the morning show today. And if you were watching me this morning on YouTube, you heard me talk about it. Just let me do a recap. Last Sunday, Obama's chef turned up dead. They say he drowned off the estate at Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah.
And immediately people started talking about conspiracies and all this stuff. I didn't get involved in any of that because, I mean, come on, you know. And then Friday, Obama shows up on the golf course. Now, remember, Obama's left-handed. That's his dominant hand. His left hand has 3 bandages on it, right? He's got 2 bandages on one finger, and a second finger has 1 bandage. And people is like, oh, well, Tiger Woods wears bandages when he's golfing. Well, then, if you look at the picture more, it looks like Obama's hand is bruised, and he's got a black eye. Obama's
Sure, it's not the lighting.
No, it's not the lighting. Obama's left eye has a black eye. And
his left hand is messed up.
His left hand is got damage to it where he's wearing the bandages and it looks bruised, and he's got a black eye. Now, that means, you know, since Obama's left-handed, to me it looked like somebody clocked him. If you're in a fight with someone who's right-handed, and they're going to blacken and they hit you in the eye, they're going to blacken your left eye because that's the right hand. So Obama's left eye has a black eye. I tweeted this. You guys can look at these pictures. It's on my Twitter, Brian Craig Show on Twitter. His left eye is black, so someone decked him. And his hand, I think, is damaged from him trying to protect himself from getting hit in the eye.
Well, what's interesting is after the chef, I don't know if it's connected to that or not, but after the chef died,
it's some coincidence.
They had an aerial view of the Obama's house, and how it works is they have their own like little private pond. Okay, it's a big pond, but it's a pond, and then there's like a jetty that comes out of rocks, and the ocean is past that.
Yeah.
He was paddleboarding in the pond.
Yeah.
He was not in the ocean.
Yeah, that's
respectfully. Right. Okay, he was in the pond section, which has no wake. It has no, like, it's not like turbulent or rough. It's like a little, quiet little, you know, private little pond area that leads out to the ocean. So that's where he was paddleboarding. So I'd really love to know, which I thought was interesting because I thought, okay, maybe the water got rough. Because down here in Florida, a lot of people paddleboard on the Intracoastal. And the Intracoastal is a waterway that is between, it's kind of, there's the ocean, and then you got a big strip of land. And then you have the Intracoastal, which is connected to the ocean, but you don't have the waves. And it's like maybe 100 feet wide at the widest spot, and maybe 20, 30 feet deep. But it's ocean water, but, you know, it's safer. It's not like being out in the middle of the ocean. And that's where all the paddleboarders are going. So the pond is not that big. He would not have been that far from land, okay? It would not have been rough. It would have been more shallow. So I don't know what the hell happened, unless he had a heart attack, but then they would have said he died of a heart attack. Maybe he had chest pain and fell in and breathed in some water, because obviously they said he drowned, so there must have been water in his lungs. I don't know, but I just thought it was interesting that he was not in the ocean proper. He was in like a little pond area where he was paddleboarding, where it was nice and
That's
calm.
right. And Kathy,
a little weird.
Yeah, you and I watch a lot of ID. We love ID, guys. You guys love ID?
Yeah, especially on the weekends. That's our thing.
The news is so stressful. When we take a break, we're watching, you know, murder stories and stuff on ID. And I cannot tell
Everybody
you
watches.
how
Very
many.
popular.
Yeah, I cannot tell you how many times I've seen there's a murder, and the police are investigating it. They call in a friend, a husband, a wife, and they don't think anything of this person. And then all of a sudden, they notice they've got scratches or marks or bruises on their body,
That's exactly right.
like Obama has.
Then they're suspect number one.
And they not only, next thing you know, they're up, they're in jail doing life. Listen, I'm not saying that Obama did something to this guy, okay? But I'm saying that there's evidence. There is evidence that is very suspicious after a very odd death at the man's home. Somebody dies at your home under very unusual circumstances. The next time people see you, you've got a black eye and bandages and scratches over your hands and everything else.
You're going to be talked to.
Unless you're a Democrat.
Right.
And then, it's forgotten.
Ex-president.
Listen, you've got to admit, it's very suspicious, the Obama. I've never had a black eye, and I've been in a lot of fights.
Yeah.
I've been in a lot of situations.
I've never been hit in the face?
Oh, yeah. I've been in
not in the eye?
I guess not. I've never had a black eye. And I mean, I've been assaulted, I've been attacked, I've been in fights, I've been in car accidents, I've fallen, I've done all kinds of stuff.
Weird.
And I've had major accidents. Like remember that one? I had a major bicycle accident. I've had some major skating board accidents. I've been in car accidents that the car I've never had a black eye, and that doesn't mean I haven't had injuries. That black eye, to me, somebody punched Obama.
Yeah, like a direct hit.
And there's only a couple people that could punch a president of the United States like that: their wife, or a guy that he's out paddleboarding with. That they have some kind of spat over.
Yeah,
something.
he was either hit or he fell.
If he was
something right on the eye socket.
If like, for example, if it was there's nothing wrong with two guys going paddleboarding together. But if they were innocently paddleboarding together and then some accident happened and he hit his face on the board and caused a black eye or something like that, they'd tell us. There's something off about this Obama black eye. And the first picture I saw just showed the hand, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then when I saw the black eye, I'm like, oh my, come on.
Yeah, I mean, what would have to happen for you to be injured in those two places?
Right after someone died under strange circumstances. That works in your home.
Yeah.
And they basically died at his home, right offshore. So something stinks with that. We'll take a break and be right back.
Are you ready for an inspiring tale of resilience and rebuilding? From author Ken Skelton comes the children's book After the Storm. Hurricane Ian, Jenny the Jeep, and Smiley help rebuild Sanibel is now available on Amazon. It's the year 2022. Smiley, a retired handyman, had no idea that a hurricane named Ian would bring him back into action as Florida, including beautiful Sanibel Island, suffered from the devastating aftermath. One woman named Jenny, owner of a construction and remodeling business, stepped up to the challenge. The government mobilized forces like the Coast Guard, the National Guard, and local police and sheriff departments for search, rescue, and rebuilding efforts. But Jenny didn't stop there. Leading her own team, she rallied skilled workers, including electricians, plumbers, tile installers, carpenters, painters, and many more. Together, they became the silent heroes of the storm, working tirelessly to repair Jenny's business and the homes of her clients. From darkness and destruction emerged a glimmer of hope, a journey that will keep you on the edge of your seat. This book is perfect for parents, grandparents, and teachers for classroom reading. After the Storm, Hurricane Ian, Jenny the Jeep, and Smiley help rebuild Sanibel from author Ken Skelton is available on Amazon. Order your copy right now. A new book from author William Thien is now available on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com. The Dream Chip. In The Dream Chip, meet David O'Rourke, an intelligence agent turned uploader for the Timelink Corporation, a futuristic technology company. His mission, capture the thoughts and memories of the deceased and store them in the Will of Memories, a protected vault of supercomputers. But there's more to the Timelink Corporation than meets the eye. They're also the creator of the Common Council software program, which empowers citizens to have a say in government decisions. This revolutionary system threatens the power of a group known as the Civocrats, who are determined to maintain their control at any cost. As tensions rise, their leader organizes a mob to attack the Timelink Corporation. The fate of the future is hanging in the balance. The Dream Chip takes you on an adventure filled with technology, political intrigue, and the power of human memory. Order your copy right now on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com. The Dream Chip from author William Thien, and uncover the secrets that lie within. Robert Allen Miltenberg invites you to time travel with him to the Roman future. His new novella, available at Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble. It's the golden age of Rome, a time of peace and prosperity. And Scadius Commodius Lavatorius is its greatest scientist. But for all he's achieved, one question haunts him. Will Rome survive the test of time? There's only one way to find out. Come along on this cosmic romp of an adventure. See if you can read the signs any better than a brilliant scientist can. Prediction, science fiction, allegory, national glory. This is a satire at its most gladiatorial. Center stage in the Circus Maximus of your mind. A story of time machines and timeless politics, strange Roman cuisine and gambling parlor tricks, spinning gold and crossing the river Styx. That's the Roman future. Available on Kindle and paperback. Go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble now and visit The Roman Future by Robert Allen Miltenberg today. Have you ever wondered how crisis negotiators peacefully resolve an intense and incredibly chaotic situation? How would you like to have that same confidence and success when dealing with your daily conflicts? If you want to learn how to negotiate your way through any high-pressure or stressful situation, order your copy of Negotiating Like Lives Are on the Line from Los Angeles crisis negotiator and author Jonathan Poltz, available right now on Amazon. In Negotiating Like Lives Are on the Line, the author shares the strategies he's learned over his 25-year career that'll empower you with the tools to handle intense situations with poise and efficiency. You'll discover how to be more effective and a confident communicator in any situation and be equipped to tackle high-pressure business deals, resolve family conflicts, and much more. In this life-changing book, you'll learn to manage emotions and process information during those stressful moments and gain the skills you need to read your counterparts effectively, decoding their words and body language. Negotiating Like Lives Are on the Line is available in Kindle, paperback, and audiobook. Order your copy right now on Amazon. Negotiating Like Lives Are on the Line from Los Angeles crisis negotiator and author Jonathan Poltz, and say goodbye to uncertainty and embrace the power of confident communication.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Don't forget, guys, the Brian Craig Show podcast with my co-host, Kathy here, my wife, is available on all podcast platforms, okay? So if you're driving in your car, working in the yard, doing stuff around the house, you can listen to us on all the podcast platforms. And that's when I listen to things. If I'm doing some workout in the yard or the garage or cleaning or something on the weekends or something, or in the car, that's when I listen to podcasts and things like that. And, you know, we have years and years worth of podcast, and you were suggesting last week, Kathy, that if people want to relive the first Trump campaign, go back.
Absolutely.
And you can listen to all of
Glory days.
Oh, yeah. You can listen to all of our podcasts during Trump's first term, but even going all the way back to him coming down the escalator. And I've gone back after you said that and listened to some of the episodes, and it's fun to listen to. You can do a whole binge of the first campaign and the first term, and, you know, and the podcasts really are historical documents.
I think so, because we really do talk about everything going on in the news for the day.
Yeah, you know, and we live in South Florida, not far from Mar-a-Lago, and people think I'm joking when I say this, but one day I don't know if I'll ever fully retire, but one day I'll be semi-retired, and I'm going to volunteer to work at Trump's Presidential Museum if it's here near Mar-a-Lago. I'm assuming it will be.
Has he even started working on that?
No. He's going to wait till after his second term.
Yeah.
If he were to start doing that now, it was, he doesn't plan on getting reelected. Yeah. But one day when I'm an old man, retirement age, I'll be like the volunteer tour guide at Trump's museum.
I could totally see that.
I'll be the perfect tour guide for Trump's Presidential Museum because I know everything about him and his life and his presidency, and I'll have a lot more to learn in the second term.
You have to wear your MAGA hat.
Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
That'd be fun.
And maybe Kathy, they'll have our podcast in a section of the museum. You can push a button and listen to some of the Brian Craig Show podcast.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be amazing. But no,
they should.
The Brian Craig Show podcast, though, is available on all podcast platforms. And those that are new, you know, I do a lot of different things, but everything I do, all my content is available on my YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. And I upload the podcast there. I do my live streams in the mornings, and I live stream 7 days a week. I've got my own studio that I live stream from. And on my live streams on YouTube, I always take live calls from viewers and listeners. But I also upload our podcast on my YouTube channel. So if you don't subscribe to my YouTube channel, please do. You'll really enjoy it. I put a lot of work into that YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. Okay, so they just won't leave our great President Trump alone. Trump's Mar-a-Lago maintenance manager, he got released on $100,000 bail today. This poor guy, I know, isn't this something? Mar-a-Lago head of maintenance Carlos de Oliveira arrived in federal court in Miami Monday. He lives down the street from the radio station.
Wow.
Yeah, right down the street. I just found out yesterday. He arrived at federal court in Miami Monday to face conspiracy charges related to the classified documents probe of President Trump.
Give me a break.
I know, is this something?
This is just unbelievable.
He walked into
This poor
court.
guy.
He walked into court for a hearing Monday morning, casting a stark expression days after his name appeared in an indictment that accused him, Trump, and fellow aide Walt Nata, that's the veteran that went with Trump to Miami, in conspiring to delete server footage of boxes of materials at Mar-a-Lago. First off, one of the biggest things they're doing, they're implying that all those boxes you see are classified documents. The documents that they claim that he did not have a right to have fill up about half of one of those boxes.
Not even.
Not
even.
Little is known about the 56-year-old aide, although a neighbor said he's not a crook. Yeah, the media like that because it sounds like Nixon. He faces 4 counts in the latest criminal indictment, which has grown to 40 counts. This guy's facing 40 counts, including lying to investigators and corruptly altering, destroying, mutilating, or concealing a document, record, or other object, along with a conspiracy charge. He's worked at Mar-a-Lago for a decade. He got promoted to his post last year. His landlord said he moved from Portugal to Massachusetts over 30 years ago, then moved to Florida. His promotion came after he impressed his boss by redoing ornate metalwork on club doors, according to the Washington Post.
Oh, he's like a craftsman.
When they say I wanted to go back to that. They say his boss. Okay, following Monday's hearing, he was released on $100,000 bail. Yeah, his lawyer called it unfortunate that the Justice Department had charged his client and said it was time for prosecutors to put their money where their mouth is. A superseding indictment prosecutors filed last week accused him of conspiring to delete security footage of boxes of documents at Mar-a-Lago after a grand jury sought their return. The indictment quotes him communicating with another club employee about security footage and telling him that the boss wants it deleted. Okay, now this is interesting.
Well, who's the boss?
Well, they leave that out, don't they? So earlier in the article, this is why I'm sharing this article with you, okay? Because I read all these articles and everything, and you really got to pay careful attention to things. Remember earlier, his promotion came after he impressed his boss by redoing ornate metalwork on club doors.
Exactly.
It says that, and then here it says the boss. It doesn't say his promotion came after President Trump was impressed. Okay, I seriously doubt that President Trump is a micromanager.
I agree with you on that.
And is the direct supervisor of the maintenance man.
I agree with you on that. I don't see him being that way at all. I think he
delegates.
He delegates and you could not be as successful as him unless you knew how to do that and put people in positions that you trusted to take care of business. He couldn't be so consumed, especially with everything going on, with such minute details of operations. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah,
that's just not even believable.
If he was the boss that they refer to with this guy's statements, they would just say Trump. They wouldn't
I think
say
the boss is his direct supervisor.
Exactly. And you know what? Everybody knows it. Everybody knows that.
And just because somebody put that supposedly in a text or whatever doesn't mean it actually happened, or
exactly.
Who knows what's going on.
I don't believe any of this stuff.
There's no evidence of anything happening. It's just a lot of accusations right now, and that's all it has ever been, are just accusations. On the other hand, with Biden, we have actual proof of things going wrong, and of course there's a double standard, and nothing's happens to people that actually do commit crimes.
Including a witness today that detailed everything. I mean, this is...
When are we going... Now, when is they're going to release a transcript soon, I'm assuming, of this. It'll come out this week. So we'll have to go through that when that comes out. So stay tuned for that. But I wonder if they're ever going to interview him on camera. Probably not.
Yeah. See the thunder?
Yeah, it's really, really coming down here.
They also don't agree with this.
Exactly.
Yeah, they keep saying the boss, the boss, the boss. And we all know that the boss is not Trump, because they would say Trump told him. And they don't say that in any of these stories. I noticed that last week when they first really started talking about this. And now that we got this new information in the courtroom.
Wow.
I know it's coming down.
And what exactly was he supposed to have erased? What is so incriminating that he would have erased footage of something, of them doing what? Like, I mean, what exactly can if you let your imagination run wild, okay, if you're a liberal, what exactly could be happening on these tapes that would incriminate Trump in anything. Moving boxes.
Exactly.
There could be anything in those boxes. And let
Yeah.
me tell you, Trump knows that Mar-a-Lago is covered with cameras everywhere. You really think he's going to do something when there's cameras everywhere?
Yeah.
And take that chance that people can hack into cameras, and he's not doing anything. It's ridiculous. But I think what's going on is they're just throwing everything at the wall as usual. And I think they're just going to keep indicting him, hoping, like you said, that they'll turn public opinion. Even if these indictments don't go anywhere, they want to still keep indicting him because they want people to get fatigued. They want people to get tired of the drama or tired of all these indictments. It's doing the opposite. It's making people want to defend him more and back him more because it's overkill. I mean, it's way overkill. It's ridiculous. He got impeached for stupid reasons. He got impeached for asking Zelensky about Biden taking this bribe, which now we all know he did for sure.
Mm-hmm.
He got impeached over that, and then Biden actually took the bribe and nothing happens.
Exactly.
I mean, people are not stupid. Only hardcore liberals, like they call your show, they're stupid. They refuse to see the truth. But deep down, they know. They know deep down. They're lying to themselves. But most people understand what's going on and see what's happening, and they're not happy about it. And the more they charge him, the more it's going to look like what it is, a political witch hunt.
Now, I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. And if you'd like to support the program and become a patron, of course, you get commercial-free editions of each and every podcast episode. Kathy and I, on occasion, even last week, we did this. We do podcast episodes that are available exclusively to Patreon supporters on top of getting commercial-free editions of all of our podcasts. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air shout-out thank you on every episode. And if you would like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the episode description of this and every episode. There's also a direct link on my website, briancraigshow.com. The names you're going to hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Mike P, Rome, Wisconsin, Macho, Wesley, Nick, Rick, Carlos, Melissa, Paulette, John, Arctic Fox, Heather, David, and Richard. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you so much, everyone, for your support of the program. There, it's coming down, isn't it? It's coming down.
A lot of thunder here today.
It sure is. It sure is. Well, listen, guys, we're out of time for today, but we will be back next time. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and we will talk to you next time.